So after the events on Saturday, I think a lot of people were starting to realize that the whole Club World Cup success was kind of a blind squirrel finding a nut situation, with obviously Maresca being the blind squirrel and winning the Club World Cup being the nut. But it got me thinking, is there a term for after you realize that it's just a blind squirrel? Because I'm sure there are some people watching the squirrel that don't know it's blind, and when it finds the nut, they go, oh, must not be blind. But then it runs into a signpost and you kind of piece it together that, oh, this was just a blind squirrel. So there's got to be a term for the period of time after you realize that the squirrel is blind, right? No. I've got it. We've now entered Maresca's post-nut clarity era. What? What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Blues and Stripes. So, not a whole lot to talk about going into this match. First match of the Carabao Cup, up against Lincoln City. This is one that we should be winning. A lot of people will look at it and go, oh, well, that's an easy win. Yeah, so is Man U. But really going into this, it's sort of an understatement to call this a must-win match, because really you've only got two options. You either win or lose. There's no draw. But really, if you do anything but win, and honestly I would say if you do anything but win convincingly, it's going to be a disappointment. Especially after now we've had 3 games in a row without a win. We need to see a response here. We need to see something from the players to show we don't have anything to worry about. And I will say, while I am back on the Maresca out train, you won't see it in every single thumbnail, because obviously if we go and thump some team 5-0, it would look stupid of me to put Maresca out in the thumbnail for that one. But I will be firmly of the stance that we need to get a better manager unless he turns things around, unless he shows consistently for the rest of this season that he's got the answers, that he can figure this out. Because so far from what I've seen, it's very much like last season, where he can't seem to find a solution. He's making dumb decisions that are leading to us getting beat by teams like Man U, and I can't trust a manager who's going to make those kinds of mistakes, who's going to go down to 10 men and then make a bunch of stupid decisions which basically cost us the game. The fact that I can say, hey, Maresca, take notes from Sunderland's manager on what to do when you go down to 10 men is embarrassing. So that's just where I am. If you're somebody that thinks that's too negative, don't know what to tell you. That's my opinion. He's not proven to me that he's got enough to take us to the top. We're seeing a regression from where we were last season, and that's not good enough for me. But going into this match against Lincoln, obviously there will be changes. We will see some rotation, which makes sense because it's the Carabao Cup. We tend to see a slightly weaker lineup in these types of matches. So I'll quickly run through all of that. First of all, in goal, obviously it's going to be Jorgensen. There's going to be a lot of people calling for Sanchez to be dropped entirely from here on out. Personally, I don't see it. I think he made a dumb decision, and yes, that decision shows that we still have to worry about him from time to time. But on the whole of it, unless he makes another mistake like that in the next match, I'm not going to worry about him. He's been very consistent over the last several matches spanning to the end of last season. So unless he shows this is going to be a consistent thing, I still will worry when it's going to pop up again, but I'm not going to be worried every single match like I was at the beginning of last season when he was doing it basically every other match. But this is a chance for Jorgensen to show some quality, show some comfortability here, because he's not in the past. One game that I reference a lot is when we faced, I think it was Morecambe last season. I'm too lazy to look it up right now. I'll probably look it up in editing and put it here. But it was early on in the FA Cup. We were facing a lower team, and while I think he kept a clean sheet for that match, I remember him dropping several crosses in that match. He just was not comfortable with his hands. He did not command his box very well. Honestly, looking at the second goal against Man U, that seems to still be a problem. So I do think we need to see a bit from him in this match. I think we need to see him be comfortable against a team like Lincoln, so that way we can feel like we can rely on him, and maybe he will start to push Sanchez for that starting spot. Since these two are going to be the only options we have in keeper, I know there's a lot of reports about possibly signing a free agent. I think Magnan is back in the picture. Our transfer team's not going to do that. They've already proven over the summer they're not going to sign anybody with experience. They're going to stick with their transfer project until it fails. So everybody who's getting possibly hyped up about that, just I'm going to go ahead and put it out there. It's not going to happen. If it does, great. They proved me wrong. Even if they do get Magnan, I will be honest, I'm not too excited about that based on what I saw from him, but whatever the case. Moving into defense, expect it'll be Gusto on the right side. I was not too impressed with him against Man U, but I'm assuming he's going to start this match. Personally, I think it needs to be James starting at right back from now on, though obviously you can rotate him in the matches like this. But I think we saw over the past few matches, Gusto, Fofana, whoever you're going to try out there, they're just not going to measure up. So it needs to be James. But in a game like this, sure, Gusto's fine. On the left side, I expect it'll be Hato. I think he's going to try to have that rotation be a little bit more prevalent throughout the season to give Cucurella some more breaks. So I expect Hato will be starting in some of these matches. And then in the center, I hope, again, I didn't hear anything about Achampong being injured, so I don't know why he wasn't available against Man U, but I hope it's going to be Achampong. As far as his partner, I hope and I kind of expect it to be Tosin, since we saw Chalobah and Fofana start together on the weekend. And I think that'll be a pretty solid back line. I don't think it's great, but I think against a team like Lincoln, they should be okay. And I'm really hoping Achimpong shows some quality here so that way Maresca can trust him. So that way we don't have to keep going back to Fofana, who's just not going to cut it. Into the midfield, this is where there are some question marks, because the only three we have available at the moment are Fernandez, Caicedo, and Santos. I know James technically does play in there sometimes as well, but I don't want to see him in there anymore. I think that worked well against PSG, but that really is the only time it has worked. So personally for this one, I'm going to go with Caicedo and Santos. I would like to see Caicedo get a break pretty early on though. I don't know if we have any youngsters that could step in. I know Roxaki is out on loan, and he's really the only other one that I've seen be involved in that area. So I guess if there is a youngster that could possibly step in, that would be a good one to have. Assuming we're doing well at halftime, I would like to see Caicedo be able to get a break because we're going to need him to be fit going forward. Into the front four, on the right side, I'm going to Estevao. I think he needs to get some more minutes. I think this is a good game for him to play in. Center attacking mid, I'm going Buonanotte. I thought against Brentford he looked fine. Nothing spectacular, but decent player in there. Something that could give us a decent option, especially since Palmer doesn't seem to be fully fit according to Maresca. And then on the left side, I think it needs to be Garnacho. As much as I don't want to see him, I think he has not had a chance to show anything yet. He's come in very late into some matches where it feels like there's not really much for him to accomplish. So I'd like to see him from the start, see where he is right now. Is he going to be playing for the team? Is he going to be helping? That way we can see where he is right now, see how well he fits into this system. If it's not going to be Garnacho, then Gittins is the obvious other option out there. And then up top, I want to see Guiu. I don't know why he's not featured at all, but I think João Pedro needs a break, and we brought Guiu back to be a second striker option, so let's see him up there. So that's the lineup that I'm hoping for. As far as what I expect to see, I truly don't know, because I never know what version of Maresca we're going to get. As I said, in defense, we could see Fofana. In midfield, he could go with Fernandez and Santos, or he could just stick with Caicedo and Fernandez again, because he doesn't want to give either of them a break for some reason. In the front four, there's a chance he goes with Neto instead of Estevao. He could push Estevao inside. Could go with Gittins over Garnacho. He could start João Pedro again, or he could even go with Tyreek George up top. I truly don't know what to expect with him anymore. And some people might say that's a good thing because, well, if the other team doesn't know what to expect, then that helps us. Well, not always, because if you can't get into a good rhythm because it keeps changing things, then that doesn't help us. But outside of the starting lineup, some other things I'd like to see. First of all, I want to see us blow Lincoln away. I know there's a good chance we won't, but I want to see it be nice and comfortable. 4-1, 5-1, something like that. That's what I'm hoping for. I would like to see some good rotation as well. I'd like to see some players that we've not had a chance to see much of. I want to see them get some time here to see what they're capable of, to see where they are. Because Lincoln is a decent test for that, to see where they are in the pecking order and all of that. But honestly, from Maresca, I just want to see his tactics improve too. I talked about it a bit, but that second half was so pathetic. How we came out, we had a chance to go at Man U when they were down to 10 men as well. They're not comfortable. They're not a good team. We could attack them. We could go at them. And instead, he just played the same way we always do. And on top of that, it was pouring and there were puddles in the pitch, which makes it even harder to play that style. So I just want to see him adjust to what the game is giving us. I'm so sick and tired of him playing the exact same way no matter what's going on. We're down by 1, or we're drawing against a team that we have no business drawing to, and yet we continue to take 5 touches in the back and pass it around and around and around and just do no penetration. That to me is just getting so boring. It's getting to a point where I'm frustrated when I watch. I don't enjoy watching us play. And after what we saw against PSG, we can play with more intensity. We can play quicker. We can try to move it down the field quicker. So why do we not do that more often? So those are my thoughts going into this. As far as what I'm predicting to happen, I can't not predict a win, because that would be embarrassing to not get a win here. But I do predict it'll be a lot tighter than it should be. I'm thinking 1-0 for most of the match, and then maybe get a late second and third to make it look a bit more comfortable than it actually was. That's just kind of what I'm expecting here. It's hard to also say that they won't score a goal based on how bad our defense and keeper has been. So if I had to lock a prediction in, I'd probably go 3-1. As far as the goal scorers, I'm going to say Guiu scores one, because I do expect him to start. I think Garnacho gets one. And for the third one, I'm going to go Achimpong. I think he's going to get himself a goal, have a good game, make a statement for why he deserves to be starting. So despite the doom and gloom that I feel, I still am hopeful going into this one. But if we don't win this one, then it just further cements that we are in the shitter at the moment. Fingers crossed that doesn't happen, because that would really lead to some angry reviews, and I don't want to go back to that time. I was actually having fun making reviews after the Club World Cup victory. I really don't want to return to the time period of being disappointed, frustrated, constantly angry. Please don't do that to me. But with all that being said, those are my thoughts going into this match. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. What are your thoughts? What do you expect to see? Let me know. We can talk about and discuss all the good stuff. Leave a like and subscribe for future previews, reviews, and talks. And until next time, hope you guys have a great day. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace out.